China's really poor economic performance in Q2.
On Australia, ahead of a central bank decision this week, rising interest rates in the country have sent property prices plummeting in many cities.
Today, we're going to talk about something really important: how China's property market problem is directly affecting Australia. Unfortunately, the majority of real estate market in China is in big trouble. And interestingly, its effects can be seen in many parts of the globe. This industry used to be a powerhouse that drove almost a third of China's economic growth. But now it's on the verge of collapse. Think of a Jenga tower that was made with billions of dollars. That's how China's real estate market is right now. Shaky and about to fall over. But how exactly can a disruption in one Chinese economic sector directly affect Australia? And will the Australian economy actually cripple without China? That's what we're going to talk about. So, let's get started right away. First of all, it is important to know that the company Evergrande is the face of this problem. This huge real estate company used to be very successful, but now it has a huge $467 billion debt that makes it hard for them to pay their bills. The problems at the company started to show up in 2021, and they've been getting worse ever since. The situation got worse when criminal charges were brought against the company's leaders, including its owner, Hui Ka-yan, who was once Asia's richest person. From a steel technician to a real estate mogul, this guy's life is like a soap series. Hui was the perfect example of a rags to riches story. However, things that rise must eventually fall. Hui's wealth, which used to be huge at $66.3 billion, has now dropped a lot. But why should we care about a China's real estate developer? The catch is that this disaster isn't just happening in China. The shockwaves are going all over the world, but they are mostly feeling it in Australia. China is dealing with a property bubble burst, and the effects are being felt in foreign trade and financial markets. Australia is especially at risk because it depends so much on China for trade. Australia sends a lot of goods to China, like iron ore, natural gas, and other minerals. If China's economy goes down, it could hurt Australia's export earnings a lot. While we continue to dive deeper into this issue, here's a quick reminder that if you find our content to be informative, don't forget to let us know by subscribing. You can always choose to turn on notifications and get alerted whenever we upload a new video. Now, coming back to the topic. Everyone is wondering one thing. Will China's government step in and help these companies who are having a bad time? Joseph Lai from Ox Capital Management says that the government doesn't seem very interested in a full bailout. They want to keep the system stable more than they want to save individual companies. This method is very important because if China's real estate market crashes, it could lead to lower prices for commodities around the world and slower economic growth. In the world of money, that's like a chain reaction. There's a twist in the story though. For some, this disaster could be a good thing, especially in Australia's real estate market, since China's real estate market isn't making as much money as it used to. China's buyers may look to other countries, like Australia. Rabobank's Michael Every says that there could be a lot of Chinese interest in Australian real estate. This could make prices go up and make living in big cities even more expensive. Imagine that Chinese buyers are drawn to Sydney and Melbourne more than ever before. The neighborhood housing market might change a lot because of this. Now, it's important to understand the bigger picture of what's happening as these major events play out. People have long thought of China's real estate market as a stable foundation and a surefire way to make money. But now it's showing signs of weakness. Not only is this a correction in the market, but it's also a change in the entire economic model that has been driving the country's growth for decades. People in China have put all their life savings into real estate for years because they think it's a safe bet. But because the market is so unstable right now, more and more people are worried about how safe these investments are. Besides the obvious effects on money, this problem also brings up an important issue related to city growth and the cost of housing. The 3 red lines strategy of the Chinese government is a step towards more stable growth. Its goal is to stop real estate developers from borrowing too much money. But this tightening of credit has caused new projects to move more slowly and made housing gaps worse in some places. As a result, this could cause cities and housing policies to be rethought around the world, not just in China, as other countries watch and learn from what is happening. China's housing market downturn could have big effects on the rest of the world. Other emerging markets that often look to China as a guide may see investors get worried and rethink their real estate investments. The problem also shows how important it is for regulators to keep an eye on things, and how dangerous it is for the real estate market to take on too much debt. For places like Australia, the situation is a complicated mix of danger and chance. One risk is that people will not buy as many of its goods, which could slow down economic growth. Some people think that more foreign money could be put into real estate, which would be good for the local market, but this influx of funding could also make problems like housing affordability and social inequality worse. To put it simply, the crisis in China's real estate market is a stark warning on how the world's economy is linked. It shows how choices and policies about money made in one part of the world can have effects on things like global product prices and local housing markets. As time goes on and things continue to change in this area, it becomes clearer that this disaster will have deep and long-lasting effects that will change economies and the way money moves around the world for years to come. In the end, what's the point? This situation is like a chess game with many levels. On one hand, China's unstable real estate market is a warning about taking out too much debt and investing without thinking things through. On the other hand, it shows how connected our world economy really is. If China's real estate market sneezes, it could make the whole world economy sick, especially close trade partners like Australia. It's not all bad news though. Remember that every crisis in the real estate and banking worlds opens up new chances. Smart buyers and people who keep an eye on the market may want to change their plans and look for new ways to make money. For the normal person, it's an interesting story to follow as it takes turns that could affect our wallets and the health of the world economy. So, the situation is definitely complicated and changing. The real estate market crash in China shows how fragile the world's banking systems are. This is a story about desire going too far and the bad things that happen when growth isn't slowed down. For places like Australia, it's a wake-up call to broaden their trade and get ready for the effects of this global earthquake. Don't forget to check out some of the other videos on your screen.